Oh man, with the morning sunrise casting its glow, its shards of light, fighting the dark gray ominous clouds, lighting up this marshmallow white pop mountainside that is Mount Hood National Forest. So we ascend Tilly Jane Trail towards mighty, majestic, Alpine Wonderland of the world, Mount Hood, 11,249 feet, tallest mountain in the great state of Oregon. We are in a real-life sepia zone. No, I have not edited this to make it look sepia. Something about this mountainside has got that sepia golden brown glow juxtaposed with this bright white marshmallow from the sun, the shards of light lighting up our snow. The pop of the white and the brown. I feel like I'm walking through a real-life sepia painting. Might look like I've somehow tried to edit this to create this effect, but no, my friend, this is realite. I don't mess with my videos as far as that. I just put in the color input space and saturate it and call it a day. I don't really go in there and try to mess with any of the colors individually. So we leave an au naturel, less is more. So this is just how it looks, my friend. Can't get over how beautiful the sun is. Clouds moving so fast beneath it. And then you look look back at Tilly Jane Trail, sepia brown hillside. So we continue to ascend towards Mount Hood. Oh, look at that sun. That is so beautiful. I can't get over these shards of light. It's really creating a beautiful glowing effect. Shards of light lighting up this zone. I'm starting to come to this other side of this particular hill that isn't getting as much of the glow of the sun just because of the angle. Just walked through a really long zone where I feel like the snow I was walking on was glowing. Diamond, marshmallow, pure white, pristine, immaculate snow. Kind of a cool effect. Now we're back in the shadows. This is the shadow section. The sun happens to be just lurking that side of the hill. So now this snow just kind of looks dark. Different effect. I love the angle though. Looking up at Mount Hood here, this is pretty darn gorgeous. There's really not a step of this hike that isn't pure magic. This is definitely one of the premium winter adventure hikes in the Mount Hood National Forest area. Highly recommend coming up and doing this Tilly Jane Trail. So there are 3 versions of this hike. The short version, which is just the 5.2 mile, 1,900 foot elevation gain to the Tilly Jane A-frame shelter. So I try not to post hole. That's kind of the shortest version. And then if you really want to be a hero, you could do the medium version, which is to Cloud Cap Inn. Adds 2.2 miles from 5 up to 7.2, but only adds 200 feet elevation gain. My viewpoint is if you've already done 1,900 feet up to Tilly Jane, why not add 200 feet and go up to Cloud Cap Inn? It's a whole nother level of majestic beauty. Views of Cloud Cap Inn and the views of Mount Hood in that area are beautiful. So I would say if the path is clear, that's the big asterisk. Sometimes it's not clear, but if it's clear and you made it all the way up to Tilly Jane, you might as well go another couple miles. That 2.2 miles is net. So it's like a mile each way, 200 feet. Get up to Cloud Cap Inn. That's probably the hero destination for most people. Now, if you want to be really crazy, if you are a wilderness adventurer extraordinaire, you can consider going south up Timberline Trail, extending it from 7.2 miles to 9.8 miles, and from 2,100 feet to 3,000 feet, and make Cooper Spur Shelter, Stone Shelter, your turnaround point. But that extra 900 feet is crazy depending on the snow thickness. I'd say if the trail is somewhat clear, if the snow patrol is like cleared it, or if it's a light snow year, you could probably do it. But if it's super thick, I wouldn't even try it because that's beyond the sweet spot of the curve. So that's the hero version of this. I probably wouldn't go any higher than Cooper Spur Shelter, my humble opinion. Look at the beauty of the sun and these dark gray ominous clouds lighting up our marshmallow mountainside here at the base of mighty majestic Mount Hood. Amazing Alpine Wonderland of the world. I would say as far as your foot traction, you're always compensating one way or the other. If you go with the snowshoes, you've got maximum gription for this middle section, but you're unnecessarily churning your energy in the lower and upper sections where it's icy and not very thick. Conversely, if you're doing what I did, which is frankly my preference, you go with the Yak Summit, so you have a lower overall burn rate. You can do a farther hike. You will glide like a panther/puma on the icy sections in the bottom and the upper, but this middle exposed section you'll post hole a little bit. So no matter which foot traction choice you make, you're going to be compensating one way or the other because the sections are all a little different. I'm not a fan of bringing multiple. I know some people like to bring snowshoes and micro spikes and like stop and change mid-hike. To me, I would never do that. I feel like that kind of breaks the vibe. I commit to one foot traction device and make the most of it, but you do you. As the sun lights up beautiful Mount Hood National Forest, look back at the steepest section of the trail so far, Tilly Jane Trail. You also see the rolling hills, the mountains of Mount Hood National Forest, majestic fog and mist filling up the area. We just descended this section, definitely the most post-holy section so far. Look at this dark gray ominous clouds. I feel like storms are moving in, and you still got the sun here, but I think it's losing the battle. The direction I'm going is starting to get cloudier and cloudier. You know, you can never really trust the forecast. Today was supposed to be okay till afternoon. It's still like 10 in the morning, and I've got my first sprinkles, so you can trust the forecast only so much. I was hoping to be able to get to Tilly Jane A-frame and make cloud cap, still with some blue sky, turn around, be on my way down before it started raining. But it seems like the rain is a few hours early, at least 4 or 5 hours early. Got my first sprinkles a minute ago. As we ascend towards our close trusty friend, Mount Hood, the worm is turning, my friend. We got the sun right there, but it's losing its battle with the dark gray ominous clouds. The worm is turning, the conditions are worsening. You can see a little bit of a haze start to obstruct beautiful Mount Hood. I'm getting some rain droplets on my face for the first time. Woo! Now that is some wind, my friends. Looking back on Tilly Jane Trail, here's our beautiful Mount Hood National Forest Basin, Burnout Wonderland, and we are continuing along towards Tilly Jane A-frame log cabin shelter. It is getting very windy here, starting to get intermittent rain sprinkles. There's the sun. Hillside. I was not expecting this heavy of wind, candidly. This was not forecast. A few times it's actually knocked me over. So, oh, I love that sun. So this is legit wind. A couple times I had to brace my footing because the wind was actually knocking me off where I was standing. So the wind is no joke, my friend. Oh, this is so beautiful. Personally, I'm a fan of a little inclement weather, as long as it doesn't turn dangerous. I've planned for everything as much as a fastidious wilderness adventurer can plan. I got the right clothes. I got phone and battery pack. I got food, I got drink. I'm well appointed. It is windy AF. I'm having to scream over the sound of the wind. It is beautiful. We're getting a laser light show thanks to the sun. Absolutely beautiful zone. Let's look back at our Tilly Jane A-frame trail. There's some fog off in the distance, rolling Mount Hood National Forest. And still ascending this way towards majestic, mighty Mount Hood. Money shot straight ahead. With the sun lighting up majestic, mighty Mount Hood. We got our money shot of the mountain right there. And let me pan over here, show you the Tilly Jane Trail we are currently ascending. When going to the left of that mogul right there. Came from down below, down in the basin straight ahead. You can see some ominous fog and mist going through the mountains here in Mount Hood National Forest. And look at these clouds right here. It's pretty windy, my friend. This is real winter wilderness adventuring. These are inclement weather conditions. We got a windstorm, we got rain, we got everything coming out. Still have the sun. I want to point out these clouds behind us. Look at this. This is crazy. This is absolutely gorgeous. I still can't get over the fog, the rolling mist and fog coming through the mountains, and that beautiful cloud formation right there. That is epic. Oh man, it's our sun. And we're just a couple tenths away from the A-frame log cabin shelter, Tilly Jane. Can I interest you in a rustic log cabin shelter? In a word, epic. I'm standing outside Tilly Jane A-frame log cabin shelter here in Mount Hood National Forest, Oregon. And look at how awesome this rustic, hardy log cabin shelter is. Oh, this is beautiful. I gotta say, in my humble opinion, this is one of the best winter adventure hikes in the entire Mount Hood National Forest area. It's 5 miles round trip, about 1,900 foot elevation gain. Go to Tilly Jane Sno-Park, hike up Tilly Jane Trail, 2.5 miles up, 2.5 miles down, about, as I said, about 1,900 feet elevation gain. You too can come up to this Tilly Jane A-frame log cabin rustic shelter, hang out, sit at the picnic table, go inside if it's open, and enjoy the beauty that is Tilly Jane A-frame log cabin shelter. This, my friend, absolutely beautiful. So we just descended from the Tilly Jane Trail. There is our Tilly Jane A-frame sign. And I'd like to welcome you to the beautiful Tilly Jane A-frame log cabin shelter, rustic and hardy. Let's walk in. So I've already opened the gate here, and I've also opened the door. If you're the last one to leave, make sure you lock both these. There happened to be nobody here, so I thought I'd give you a quick little tour. Very beautiful on the inside. Step in. And you got a couple of picnic tables, a couple benches around this little hearth. Benches all the way around. Do have some supplies. I would say contribute, but don't ever take anything, obviously. Has a communal feel. I mean, look, people have left Alpine apple cider, which happens to be my favorite. Next time I hike up here, I'll bring an extra box and add to the stockpile. Oh man, this is beautiful. That side is permanently locked, so you don't go out there. And look at this, you got the stairs up to presumably the sleeping area. Oh man, this is really beautiful. It's neat to see the inside. I never actually seen the inside of Tilly Jane A-frame log cabin shelter. So here is the upstairs part of Tilly Jane A-frame log cabin shelter. Presumably this is the sleeping area. You bring your sleeping bag up here with a pillow, pick a little corner, sleep up here. A lot of good flat space. Got a room with a view. You got a window view out there of Mount Hood National Forest and a bench. And to get up here, just gotta walk up these stairs. Not too hard, pretty safe. Just grab the railing and come up here and sleep at Tilly Jane A-frame log cabin shelter. This is beautiful. So here is your stairs up to your sleeping area. Just make sure you hold onto the railings. It's pretty darn safe. Now walk around here. You got one rustic picnic table, two rustic picnic tables, a bench right there, 3 benches around the stove, another bench on the other side. Definitely a communal environment, room for a lot of people. And I gotta say, $20 a night's a pretty darn good deal. As we leave the Tilly Jane A-frame log cabin shelter area, let's continue along this way. So now we need to assess if the trail is clear to go to Cloud Cap Inn. If we just stopped at Tilly Jane and turn around, it'd be 5 miles, 1,900 foot elevation gain. If we extend it to Cloud Cap Inn, it's 7.2 miles, so we add 2.2 miles, but we only add 200 feet elevation gain. It goes from 1,900 feet to 2,100 feet. So 2.2 miles, but only 200 feet elevation gain. That's a pretty flat hike. So now the only question is this connecting segment to Cloud Cap Saddle Campground and ultimately Cloud Cap Inn, is this obstructed with snow, or is it clear for a yaks traxer like myself? If it's clear, I'm gonna go to Cloud Cap Inn, might as well capture that as well. If it's, you know, massive thick snowbanks, then I will reach the end of the line, have to turn around, have no choice. To the right is Tilly Jane Creek, which we will cross. Here it says Tilly Jane Area and Campground. Very beautiful zone. Bit of a steep cliff there. I wouldn't get too close personally, especially with the yak tracks on. So I'm just gonna stay over here. Better safe than sorry. Tilly Jane area contains incredible terrain, beautiful views, and several historic buildings. Tilly Jane Creek was named after the wife of Wesley Ladd, and the name has been extended to the campground and general area. Very sweet. So this is our direction. There's a little amphitheater here on the left. And then we will see if we can make it all the way over to Cloud Cap Inn or not. Ooh, look at Mount Hood straight ahead. I'm gonna bury the lead. I mean, we have a bit of overcast, so it blends in with the white sky, but still, that is mountain straight ahead, my friend. That is beautiful. We've got a little amphitheater here on the left. Very cool. The rumors are that sometimes squirrels will have Shakespearean plays here when the humans aren't around, but it's not something we ever get to be part of. And we will check out this little zone. Amphitheater, awesome. I gotta say, I love it when they have these little infrastructure treats. Like, look at this. This is cool. Obviously, half of it's covered in snow, but you can see this half. Very beautiful. So, here's a sign that says American Legion Camp. There's a beautiful sun. Now that's a sight. Look at that sun lighting up beautiful Mount Hood National Forest. So far, not so bad. We are now hiking by Tilly Jane Creek. Very beautiful, very picturesque, very pristine, serene, clean, pristine Tilly Jane. Doesn't rhyme, but it's still beautiful. Look at that. That is cool. Look at that pristine water. Care for a dip? Care for an ice cold dip? Probably not. But it's still very beautiful. It's like ice water. Same thing I have running through my veins. Here's a little bridge, snow on it. You can walk across it. Very cool. Here's our beautiful little Tilly Jane Creek. That is cool. I love that. It's beautiful. Very pristine little creek, my friend. Here's our snow crossing. And we did it, as if it was in doubt. Look back down at Tilly Jane Creek and all its raging goodness. Look up at Tilly Jane Creek. Beautiful, epic, awesome, clean, pristine, serene Tilly Jane Creek. There's the bridge we just crossed. Let's continue on this way. So it's essentially 1.1 miles this way and only about 200 foot elevation gain. So why not, right? Go get the full Monty experience. We go 1.1 miles this way, 200 feet elevation gain. We're at Cloud Cap Inn. We'll go by Cloud Cap Saddle Campground, then Cloud Cap Inn, 1.1 miles back. And it will have been a 7.2 mile, 2,100 foot elevation gain hike. I will still look at Timberline Trail and consider the Cooper Spur scenario, but I'm concerned about the weather at this point. I'm worried the worm is turning and I don't want to get myself in a situation. See what these signs say. Tilly Jane Trail, Timberline Trail. Here's our Tilly Jane guard station. So if you go at recreation.gov, $200, you can rent the Tilly Jane guard station, like your own private cabin group experience. Very cool. This is a beautiful area. I could see that being fun. I could see that being real fun, actually. You get a group of people together, y'all come up here, yak tracks or snowshoe, whatever. You take over this area and have yourself a party. So you got a lot of infrastructure here. Granted, it's snow covered, probably not very convenient to try to have your lunch there at the picnic table, but actually it can be kind of fun when it's this thick of snow. And we will continue along this way. So there is your Tilly Jane guard station, $200 a night. Perfect for a group situation. You get a big group together, divide the cost among several people. Kind of a fun way to come enjoy Mount Hood National Forest. I'd highly recommend it. If you can get a big group together, divide the cost, then that is actually a really good value proposition in my humble opinion. And we continue along this way. Thank you, Blue Diamonds, for charting the way. I can see the foot traffic and I can see the Blue Diamonds. Between the two, I know which way to go. Trail number 600A for your spreadsheet tracker. Continue up this way. Okay, so very cool. You see those brown signs down there. That is Tilly Jane Campground. First come, first served summer style campground. I believe there's about 14 sites. Come up here in summer, and this is a premium camping zone. Gateway to Timberline Loop, Cooper Spur Shelter area. And not really a place you can camp during winter, but kind of cool, right next to the Tilly Jane Guard Station. So we are traversing the section of Tilly Jane Guard Station to the Cloud Cap Saddle Campground, and then ultimately will take us to the Cloud Cap Inn, and we'll get some money shots, hopefully, of the area. I will assess Timberline, decide if I want to go up to Cooper Spur. My instincts are telling me, based on time management and the weather, that that's probably a bad idea, that I should probably just do the medium version. I framed this at the beginning, short, medium, and long. I think medium might have been the way to go. So thinking I'm gonna get to Cloud Cap Saddle Campground in a couple tents here, and then go to Cloud Cap Inn. That'll make it a 7.2 mile, 2,100 foot elevation gain hike. Very hardy winter adventuring hike. Happy with that. Turn around, try to get out in front of the rain that I know is coming. Look at these gray clouds. Gray clouds are forecasting rain in the coming hours, my friend. So probably not gonna even try to do the Timberline section. I would love to. It was a blue sky day. I have the energy in the tank as far as my physical capability, but the prudent, cautious winter adventure in me is telling me that it's probably a bad idea. It's pushing my luck. So we'll go to Cloud Cap Inn and call it. Man, this is beautiful. I'm like the only one up here. The only, like, I went to Tilly Jane A-frame log cabin shelter, got to tour it, did both narrated and silent. I was the only one there. Walking through this section, I'm the only one here. Hey, look, my friends, what I spy over there? That is the Cloud Cap Inn across the way. See that perched on the other side of this burnout zone. So we got the Cloud Cap Inn over there. So this right here is one of the sketchier little sections. This is connector over to Cloud Cap Saddle Campground. It's steep and narrow. Just gonna film for a second. I'm gonna put my phone away because I gotta focus on my fancy footwork, not be jabbering and trip. But this is one of the tougher sections. It's doable. You can see the trail goes to the left there. I think it goes over that log over there. I don't know where it goes, but it's going to connect over there and then ultimately down over there. Got a particularly beautiful little forest section here. Here's another little section of Tilly Jane Creek, I do believe. And look at that. We will cross it right here. Assuming there's a log or something that I'm walking over. I can't see, it's too thick of snow, but obviously looks safe. So we just crossed right there and walk back over here a couple steps. Just give you this money shot of the forest. That is beautiful. So this is the way we're hiking. We're getting close to Cloud Cap Saddle Campground, and then we will get over to Cloud Cap Inn. I saw Cloud Cap Inn from the ridge behind me, across this burnout chasm. So we're getting close. We've made visual contact. No, it is not a fever dream hallucination. It is not a mirage. We are couple tenths away. So we will ascend up this little section. I feel like Tilly Jane A-frame log cabin shelter is definitely one of the main draws, especially with it being open. You can walk in and sit and have a snack and chill and enjoy a rustic log cabin shelter. But if you've already gone that far, you've done the lion's share of the elevation gain, why not add a couple miles, come over to the Cloud Cap Inn? That's my logic. I'm a stacker, a bow-goer. Kind of random, you see a little rainbow there off in the mist. Call that rainbow in the mist. Very beautiful. The weather is turning. It is raining and overcast and foggy, and it's kind of a rain-sleet mix. And there's a random rainbow in the middle of the burnout here in Mount Hood National Forest. Very beautiful. So we are, I believe, in the final approach. We are deep in the old growth Mount Hood National Forest winter adventuring, wilderness trail winter adventuring. We are in the zone between the Tilly Jane Guard Station and the Cloud Cap Saddle Campground. It is intermittently raining, getting a mist, some random fog, some random rainbows across the forest. Kind of an interesting eclectic mix. And I love these mossy tree sections, definitely set a vibe. And a little downhill right here. A lot of little downhill sections, you just gotta watch your footwork. Again, I'm in the Yak Track Summit, they work, but you just gotta be mindful. Don't do anything crazy. I gotta say, look at these mossy trees. This is gorgeous. This is quintessential old growth Mount Hood National Forest. I mean, this is ridiculous. Talking about setting a vibe. I mean, I could do a 360. Look at this. Look up here. This is magic, my friend. This is quintessential Mount Hood National Forest. If you wanted to know what Mount Hood National Forest is like, think of this green mossy tree section and you understand. Got a very ethereal vibe, my friend. Well, I do feel after some weird ups and downs, inclines and declines, that I am finally in that final approach to Cloud Cap Saddle Campground. I don't really feel like we're gonna be able to see any of the sites in a campground review sense. I'll have to come back in the summer to really do a proper campground review, but we'll get by that and then go on to Cloud Cap Inn, my friend. Ooh, I love these feature trees of interest. Look at that. That is beautiful, my friend. It's a post hole. Yep. This area is starting to look familiar to me. I have been here once before. Straight ahead, Cloud Cap Saddle Campground. I'm eager to get to Cloud Cap Inn, get a few money shots of our friend Hood, and turn around. The rain is increasing, the wind is increasing, the conditions are getting worse. I'm right in that no man's land where it's like I'm just a couple tenths away from my turnaround point, so I'd like to check the box. But I also don't want to linger out here for hours unnecessarily, you know. Straight ahead, that is the restroom for Cloud Cap Saddle Campground. You see straight ahead, that is a picnic table, the other side of the road. So we are in the Cloud Cap Saddle Campground zone. We're right next to Cloud Cap Inn. Weird that the road doesn't have any snow on it. Must be some sort of material, because it doesn't make any sense, but I'm digging it. So this is interesting and wild. I'm up here at Cloud Cap Saddle Campground, and I don't know why. It must be some sort of tech, as it's starting to snow on me. The wind is hitting me hard. It's actually a little painful. some reason this road doesn't have any snow on it. You see, here's Cloud Cap Saddle Campground. There's the restroom. Here's Cloud Cap Saddle Campground. You can see picnic table. This is not a campground review. It is snowing, my friend. It is beautiful. It is epic. It is a winter wonderland. Look at the moss on those trees. You see the sign straight ahead there. That is to Timberline Loop if you're going to Cooper Spur Shelter. But the thing I'm trying to understand, why is there no snow on the road? It's cool. Maybe it's some sort of new finagling technology. But starting to snow. There's Site 5 with your picnic table. This is not a winter snow destination. I'm going to continue to hike this way. I'm walking over to Cloud Cap Inn turnaround point for our 7.2 mile, 2,100 foot elevation gain hike from Tilly Jane Sno-Park, Tilly Jane Trail to Tilly Jane A-frame log cabin shelter to Tilly Jane guard station to Cloud Cap Saddle Campground to Cloud Cap Inn, which we are mere feet away from, and then I will turn around. In fact, speak of the devil, Cloud Cap Inn, coming up to it on our left here. Here is the beautiful Cloud Cap Inn in winter snow. Let me pan over and show you this beautiful natural. If you ever wanted to see what Cloud Cap Inn looks like in winter snow, here you go. This is the beautiful Cloud Cap Inn, and we give you a panorama of Mount Hood National Forest. The warm is turning, my friends. The storm is moving in. It's getting cloudy, misty, snowy, rainy. You can see condensation coming down. I still have 3.6 miles to go back down to Tilly Jane Sno-Park. I will be hiking in the sleet, the snow, the rain, in my Yak Trek summit, all the way down. But feel well equipped, well appointed. I got food, I got drink, I got battery. I'm ready to go. This is my turnaround point, and I will be descending back down to Tilly Jane Sno-Park. This, my friend, beautiful. Time to turn around. As we leave the Cloud Cap Inn area, the ethereal fog has moved in, my friend. I'm approaching the Cloud Cap Saddle Campground. I will hike back over to Tilly Jane guard station, Tilly Jane A-frame log cabin shelter, and descend back down to Tilly Jane Sno-Park, hop in my Jeep Wagoneer, and drive home. So 7.2 mile, 2,100 foot elevation gain hike. I've officially turned around. I'm now on the way back down. So I've done the 2,100 foot elevation. That was the asterisk in this hike, the hardest part. So this is definitely what they call a 2/3, 1/3 hike, meaning 2/3 of the time is the way up, 1/3 of the time is the way back down. I'm definitely over halfway by time, even though I'm halfway by distance, just because downhill is by nature faster than uphill. So right now I'm optimistic that the changing conditions is just going to make it prettier but not more dangerous. I still have my Yak Trek summit on, and the trail was clear on the way up, so I don't know what would be so different on the way down. Even if it got a little rainier and icier, I should be okay. So still optimistic, but we'll see. Hopefully not foolhardy. Time to tell. Again, going by Cloud Cap Saddle Campground. I did finally acquiesce and put up my hood. This is beautiful. Cloud Cap Saddle. Does anybody know why this road is completely clear? It must be something about this rock or material, like doesn't get cold. I don't know, man. It doesn't make sense to me. It's cool though. So we've officially made it to the threshold of Mount Hood Wilderness, Cloud Cap Saddle. Going beyond this marker is the threshold into beautiful Mount Hood Wilderness. We will not be going up to Cooper Spur Shelter today. We went to Cloud Cap Inn as our turnaround point, 7.2 mile, 2,100 foot elevation gain. Weather is turning, it is storming, it is raining, it is snowing, it is misting, and I'm going to go back to Tilly Jane. One last look back at the Cloud Cap Saddle Campground zone. Still don't understand why that road has no snow on it, but it's very cool. Tilly Jane. Trail number 600A. For those of you keeping track at home, update your spreadsheet, your tracker. And I like how they have the number system. It never means anything to me, but I'm sure it's very interesting. Look at these mossy trees. Like, yeah, the snow's cool, but look at all that moss. Beautiful. So we are back on the Tilly Jane Trail, and we will be taking this circuitous path over a couple Tilly Jane Creek crossings back to the Tilly Jane Guard Station, Tilly Jane Campground, ultimately Tilly Jane Atrium Log Cabin Shelter. Then we will be descending the mountainside back to Tilly Jane Sno-Park. So we did the out, we did the 2,100 foot elevation gain. Now we're doing the back. We're 3.6 miles away from our warm vehicle, but that doesn't mean that we're already over the hike. We're still enjoying the beauty, so hoping to get some good shots on the way back. It's a 2/3, 1/3 hike, which means it takes about 2/3 to get where I've got to so far, and about 1/3 of the time to get back, because going downhill is always faster than going back up. So, time to descend through a winter storm. It's a 2/3, 1/3 hike, which means it takes about 2/3 to get where I've got to so far, and about 1/3 of the time to get back, because going downhill is always faster than going back up. So, time to descend through a winter storm. here's the direction we just came from. Beautiful Mount Hood National Forest. Loving these mossy trees. A lot of wind in the background. We are currently on the approach back to Tilly Jane Guard Station and Tilly Jane Campground. First come, first serve, 14 campsite summer camping destination. So I would definitely say if you're gonna bother doing this as a winter adventure, come all the way up to Tilly Jane A-frame, you might as well add this extra 2.2 mile, 200 foot elevation gain segment over to Cloud Cap Inn. Why not? Glad I did so. Now I'm heading back from this segment. Be back to Tilly Jane Land, Tilly Jane A-frame shelter shortly. And descend the mountainside, the Burnout Zone, which is really the heart and soul of this hike. Definitely thick snow. Still don't regret using my Yak Track Summit. I think as far as energy management was worth it. Some occasional post-holing was worth the ability to go a longer distance with less exertion. So I think Yak Tracks or micro spikes are the winner chicken dinner of this hike. Very doable. Little signage here on the street to our right, and around the corner here to the right will be the Tilly Jane Guard stations shortly. So we are back to the Tilly Jane campground area. You can see the brown signs over there. I don't know if the snow got thicker or if I got tireder or if the rain and snow that's come down the last hours changed the dynamic, but I'm definitely post-holing quite a bit more. When you go downhill on snow, you're more likely to post-hole, so slide, slippery slide, my friend. Blue diamond right here. To the right, we are at Tilly Jane Guard Station. Right there. Building to our right. We made it back to Tilly Jane Guard Station. That's a good sign. Let's keep going. There's our Tilly Jane Guard Station. There's our trail. We're going to meander around a little Tilly Jane Creek crossing, hit the amphitheater, and then straight away back to Tilly Jane A-frame, more cabin shelter. This isn't sketch, but I would stay away from the edge here. Sort of don't want to fall. Fortunately, I have my Yak Track Summit on, so I have full confidence in the fanciness of my footwork. Oh, I love Tilly Jane Creek. So pristine, serene, clean, immaculate. Dig it. Our little footbridge. Straight ahead. There's Tilly Jane Creek. Tilly Jane Creek footbridge. I would stay in the center of it. You can see the rain sprinkling on Tilly Jane Creek. It is raining on me, has been for a while. Glad I have waterproof ski clothes on or I'd be in trouble. Happen to have a Bogner ski jacket, 20,000 K waterproof, 30,000 K breathable, 750 fill goose down. So got a premium ski jacket on, so I'm dry as a whistle on the inside. Got gloves, as I mentioned, nice pants. So I'm well dressed, not feeling the rain so far. Here's our amphitheater. The chipmunks had a performance going on, but they heard me coming and scattered. They're quite a Shakespearean troupe, the local chipmunks here at Tilly Jane. And we're coming up to more signage. This is trail number 600A, Amphitheater. Coming up to the Tilly Jane Campground sign on our right. Tilly Jane A-frame will be on our right as well here in a couple minutes. So we'll be back onto the main Tilly Jane trail. So we are approaching our close trusty friend Tilly Jane A-frame log cabin shelter, currently empty. I can buy it on our way back down Tilly Jane Trail to Tilly Jane Sno-Park, where we launched our base camp, where our Jeep wagon here is, where warmth is, where heated seats, and reinforcements as far as drinks and snacks eagerly await us. Here's our Tilly Jane A-frame sign. I love Tilly Jane A-frame rustic log cabin shelter. Can't get enough of it. Absolutely beautiful, majestic, epic. Goodbye, Tilly Jane. We've enjoyed our visit. We've enjoyed our stay. I still love the Romeo and Juliet come hither balcony. Very cool. Remember, if you're the last one to lock the gate and the door, which I did, so I'm leaving. The area is secure, for the record. I closed the door and I closed the gate, and it is a secure facility as I leave. Nobody there. And time to descend, my friend. So I will give you the good news, because I'm a good news kind of guy. Oh my gosh, look at that rainbow. That's impressive. Because of all the rain, we're getting like some world-class rainbows. Beautiful. So we got an epic rainbow, and I will give you the good news as we look at the rainbow. So 7.2 mile, 2,100 foot elevation gain hike. We did the 2,100 foot elevation. That's the asterisk. That's the hardest part of this whole hike. That's done. This is all downhill, literally, not figuratively. Now that is a rainbow, my friend. We're descending Tilly Jane Trail here in Mount Hood National Forest, Oregon, and it keeps raining and misting and ethereal fog and inclement weather. And one of the yields of that is you get these beautiful gray clouds. We've got a kind of double rainbow situation. You got the prominent one on the left, you got a second one kind of on the right, beginnings of the spectrum. Oh man, this is beautiful. We are beginning our descent. So going towards that beautiful rainbow. Hey, let me show you this. The rainbow actually has both sides. Look at that. I thought you were never supposed to see both sides, but it's like nature's croquet. Looking back on the trail, we're descending. Beautiful burnout zone. As we continue along the Tilly Jane Trail on the back part of our out and back, we're descending this 2.5 mile segment, going down 1,900 feet. We're on a ridge line. Ridge line is giving us beautiful views into this burnout basin. Very beautiful. And I can't get over the ethereal fog mist across the way. Pretty epic. Pretty special. Today, January 30th, 2026. The ethereal fog mist in this mountain zone just never went away. Normally it burns off, like you're used to it being here in the morning, and then later in the day it burns off, but not today. The thick, ethereal, foggy mist out to play all day today. There's no respite from the soupy, foggy mix. Do you see how beautiful this is? Oh my gosh. We are descending Tilly Jane What a beautiful day, I gotta say. I would say do not be just a fair weather adventurer, a fair weather hiker. I know some people that, you know, I'm not trying to throw shade, but they only go hiking when it's like a bluebird, blue sky day, and that's the only set of conditions they will even consider going on a hike. If there's any rain, if there's any snow, if there's any overcast, it's an automatic deal breaker. And different strokes, different folks, you do you, but I do not prescribe to that mentality, because frankly, I think a lot of the most beautiful hikes I've ever done have been in ethereal mist and fog and rain and snow, and hiked through a lot of storms. And I think it's, first of all, I think it's invigorating, it's exciting, it's good for the soul. Second of all, I think it's actually a lot of times more beautiful. There's something about the overcast light that makes everything in the foreground have higher contrast, which actually, in my opinion, makes it more beautiful. Sometimes you get what I call like a sun stain. Like if you got like bright sunshine and you try to shoot a video, there's just this light everywhere, and it actually a little off-putting, in my opinion. I think it actually is less beautiful because you can't see anything because the sun's so glaringly bright. I actually don't like it. I'd much rather shoot a video in light like this. It's overcast with ethereal mist and fog, and you got good lighting. You can see every texture. I think it's actually far more beautiful than just like a blue sky, sun blaring down on you like a spotlight. That's not actually my favorite, to be honest with you. So maybe that's the Norwegian in me, lifelong Oregonian. And look at that. That's pretty legit, my friend. That is pretty legit. You got the rainbow. Got the rainbow in the mist. If I was trying to do a nature shot, I would call this the rainbow in the mist. The mist is actually moving so fast from left to right, you can see it. If I just stay here still in real time, you can see it moving from left to right towards the rainbow. I just descended a steep little section of Tilly Jane Trail. And we got this ethereal mist coming in. It's actually coming in heavier straight ahead. I don't know what this is. Mist, fog, soup. It's beautiful, but it's definitely moving into this Mount Hood National Forest Canyon Basin. I am a fan of a good ethereal misty fog, so I'm digging it. It just completely swallowed the rainbow. We had a beautiful rainbow right straight ahead. No more. The fog, the rainbow went to battle and the fog was victorious. Now we are getting strong gray vibes. Don't know if this is a harbinger for some bad weather coming. Right directly above me right now is some blue sky. I just looked up. So I'm in my final 2 miles descending down from whence I came to Tilly Jane Sno-Park. So I've got a Jeep Wagoneer that's got the load leveling suspension, 5 levels. So I'll probably go up to the highest level, off-road, 1 or 2. Put it into snow 4-wheel drive. Go down the couple miles of cloud cap road until I get to the main highway. Pull over, go back down to normal height of the vehicle. Go to normal 4-wheel drive, and then I will drive home. It's nice to have a vehicle that's got that capability, so I have full confidence. I'm sure the conditions are fine, but if there's one section sketchy on the drive home, it's going to be this few miles of cloud cap road back to the main highway. So that I'm more than up for the task with my vehicle. And then I will go home. You know what one of the best parts of a successful winter adventure is? 7.2 miles, 2,100 foot elevation gain. It's going home and having bottomless cups of warm apple cider. I like the Alpine. I actually saw some Alpine apple cider up at Tilly Jane A-Frame. Pretty cool. They had a box there, although they had the sugar type. I like the sugar-free type, so I probably wouldn't have had any at the Tilly Jane. I'm a sugar-free kind of guy, but got sugar-free at home, so I'm going to have bottomless apple cider all night. Get crazy, my sugar-free apple cider. That's what I call a party, my friend. Oh, look at this, look at these clouds, this fog, this ethereal mist, soupy magic. I am digging it. Don't know what the heck it is. You know, it's funny, if it was summer, I think there was a wildfire, but it's not summer and there's no wildfire. No, I guess it's just a ethereal, misty, cloudy fog. So I would say we finished the upper section of the exposed Burnout segment of Tilly Jane. So we got this Meandering Segment. We stopped and just panned back. So we just came down from there. That's kind of the upper part of the Burnout Zone. That is the final ascent to Tilly Jane A-frame log cabin shelter. We're now kind of in the mid section, the flatter section. Little respite because that was some pretty thick, gnarly snow, and yeah, track summit. Still don't regret my footwear traction device control decision because I was able to go up to cloud cap in without much energy exertion, and 7.2 miles, 2,100 foot elevation gain. So solid on the X tracks, but you're always cheating in one way or the other. I was definitely cheating towards having to post hole a bit, unfortunately. So that thicker exposed section is officially over, and that was kind of my albatross, my Achilles heel, no pun intended, of the whole hike. So that's good. Probably don't have any more post holing in front of me as bad as what was just behind me. Got through the worst post holing section. So now we're kind of in the mid burnout zone, Tilly Jane Trail. I called this the Sepia section on the way up, and it's not giving the sepia vibes on the way down. It's kind of dark and dreary, but still beautiful. We are now in the bottom section of the Burnout Zone, Tilly Jane Trail, about to re-enter the lower forest section that takes us back to the trailhead. Still have this ethereal gray misty fog blanketing this canyon basin. I'm digging it. It's giving a beautiful vibe. I'm a sucker for a good ethereal, foggy, soupy mist, so to me it's only amping up the beauty. So my post-holing days are almost over. Once we get through this final section of the burnout, what I earlier called the angel singing section, this is the bottom zone of the burnout section back to the lower forest. That initial uphill slog that was the cost of doing business section from the trailhead up to this burnout zone. Once we get out of this little area, I'll be done post-holing. Should be very nice. And it'll just be lower forest with canopy, not much snow, fair amount of ice. Back to our trailhead. I still can't get over this beautiful, like, thick fog. This mist is just blanketing this area. This is beautiful. It's like a soupy fog. Pretty unusual from sunrise to the next couple hours sunset. This entire day will have been non-stop fog in the area. The fog never lifted. It wasn't just a morning burn-off situation. It was just a day of fog in the mountains. So, very beautiful. I love this area. I will say this overcast gives like a different light, makes everything more vibrant and pop. All the green, all this brush, cat's tail, beautiful pine trees are more vibrant in the overcast. I feel like it is better lighting for really appreciating the contrast and the beauty of every blade of grass, every little bush and shrub and tree. So I actually prefer this lighting over the bright blue sunshine, bright blue sky sunshine, because that actually is a little blinding and you kind of miss a lot of the light, a lot of the contrast. As we officially leave the burnout section of Tilly Jane Trail here in Mount Hood National Forest, we got some ethereal, misty, foggy soup across the way. Very beautiful, setting a vibe. And we are descending back down to what I had called the lower forest section, the trailhead to the burnout zone section. More canopy cover, so there's less snow, which means less post holing, which is good for a yak traxer like myself. So I'm looking forward to getting out of the post holy burnout section. That was definitely the worst section as far as post holing goes, but still happy with my foot traction choice overall. For me to be able to do 7.2 miles and 2,100 foot elevation gain with minimal effort, I really don't feel wrecked. I feel actually pretty good. That's the yield. It's amazing what you can find beauty in, like even just a section like this. This isn't a feature of the trail, but I just find this to be absolutely stunningly beautiful. The green of this brushery, all this cat's tail, ice on the trail, and then the snow. This is really beautiful. Very vibrant pops of white and green. And straight ahead you can see kind of the demarcation line of re-entering the lower forest. Suddenly we're going to have dirt under our feet. That'll be nice for my yak's tracks to clean off some of the mud and snow that is caked on and accumulated all the hours of hiking. So I definitely wasn't taking a speed mentality when I did this hike. 7.2 miles, 2,100 feet. It's going to end up being like 6 hours. Now, am I saying I was going for a record time? No, I mean, I shooting a video, which slows me down, and I stopped and lingered and really enjoyed each segment. So life's a journey, not a destination. Don't be trying to throw down a good time. Who cares if you did it quickly? The important part is to actually enjoy it. I'm not here to race, I'm here to have fun. So I'd rather do it slow and steady wins the race. I would say victories by using yak tracks. I'm really not wrecked. I mean, 7.2 miles, 2,100 foot elevation gains, a pretty legit winter adventuring hike, and I feel totally fine. Like, I don't even really feel tired, to be honest with you. I feel like I could start a hike right now. Like, that was not that arduous, and I chalked that up, as I walked through this muddy section, to the fact that I went slow. So I can honestly say in my hike, I never once got out of breath. I never redlined, as I call it. I never got behind my breath or got that fight or flight or got the cortisol or got, you know, like, oh, this is too hard. I never got any of that. I always went slow. Anytime I got a little tired, and I just slowed down and really stayed in front of my breath and never really got tired. Never really felt like I was at full exertion. And a big part of that I chalk up to deploying yak tracks, because yak tracks are basically like summer hiking, just a little bit more resistance from the snow/ice. So I don't know, man. I'm actually less wrecked than I was expecting. I don't feel too bad at all. I feel pretty good. So I got another hike in me right now. Let's do it again. There's a wheel at the bottom, and if I spin it and hit the wrong thing, I could do the whole hike over again, but I think I'm up for it. As we continue to hike back down the final section of Tilly Jane Trail. Particularly gorgeous little section here. Definitely need foot traction control for this. This is like total sheet of ice. If you were boot packing, you would not be able to physically do this. You'd go flying. But with my yak track summit on, I'm like a puma/panther, gliding across effortlessly like a figure skater in the Olympics. Very simple. Oh, this is so beautiful. I will say this lower forest is looking more beautiful on the way down. This is hitting right. This is really gorgeous. We're in the final mop-up phase of our Tilly Jane Trail adventure. What are my takeaways? I think yak tracks or microspikes definitely solid decision. I probably wouldn't do snowshoes. I can understand if you do snowshoes, so no shade. But if you do snowshoes, you'll definitely have a higher burn rate of your energy, but you'll have an easier time on the more exposed burnout zone. If you do yak tracks, you'll have a much lower burn rate on your energy, but you will post a little bit in the burnout section. So depending on which way you want to cheat on your exertion level or your post holing, I could see an argument for either way. I personally would pick yak tracks, but that's my preference. I would definitely wouldn't do skis under any such circumstances. I think that would be a mistake. Don't be fooled by the fact that it says ski trail. And I think if you're gonna bother going up to Tilly Jane A-frame, which is well worth doing, it's a gorgeous A-frame rustic log cabin shelter. I would add Cloud Cap in. I think that's worth it. Adds 2.2 miles, but only 200 feet elevation gain. So, and then you get to go see Cloud Cap Saddle Campground. You get to see the Mountain Hood Wilderness sign. You get to see, most importantly, Cloud Cap Inn. If it's a clear day, you actually can go up to the left of Cloud Cap Inn. There's some money shots of Mount Hood proper, the summit. I didn't do that today because it was such overcast you couldn't see the mountain, so it wasn't worth going up there. But if it was a clear blue sky day, you definitely want to go to the left of Cloud Cap Inn. There's a couple overlooks that are like majestic money shots, and Mount Hood would literally be the view of your entire hike. So definitely want to add that if you're going to go up to Cloud Cap Inn. Didn't get that today myself, but that's okay. I've already gotten it this summer. So I would add that. I think the 7.2 mile, 2,100 feet elevation gain version is probably the sweet spot of the hike. I could see if this was a blue sky, bluebird day, and you didn't have what I had to deal with today, like the rain and the snow and the fog and the windstorm that knocked me down a few times and all this other stuff. And if you got here like right at sunrise and you had a blue sky day, optimal conditions, I think you could go to Cooper Spur Shelter as your turnaround, which would make it 9.8 mile, 3,000 foot elevation gain. That's a trek. I definitely would do yak tracks, not snowshoes, because that's a little far for snowshoes. But if you get optimal alignment where it's light snow, mostly ice like it is now, and bluebird, blue sky day, then I think Cooper Spur Shelter is within reach from Tilly Jane Sno-Park as a out and back day hike. So I know a lot of people will, and as a different version of that, they'll hike up and stay at Tilly Jane A-frame, $20 per person, minimum 2 people, $40, or they'll just rent out the Tilly Jane guard station, which I think is $200 for a big group, and you split that amongst a bunch of people. It's actually pretty reasonable. So if you go stay up there, then day two, like the day one is just hiking up there and setting up camp, spending the evening. And then day two, if you want to adventure, then you could easily hike up to Cooper Spur because you've already done the lion's share of the elevation gain in the previous evening. So that's a great base camp if you really want to go up and look at Cooper Spur Shelter. I wasn't able to go up to Cooper Spur Shelter today, but I think that was a wise decision based on the conditions. You got to let the trail conditions and the weather conditions dictate your plan. And today, given the extreme kind of stormy conditions, it didn't make sense to try to go up there. So those are my takeaways here at Tilly Jane Trail, Tilly Jane Sno-Park. I do think this is one of the most premium winter adventuring hikes in the entire Mount Hood National Forest area. Definitely at least bucket list, at least do it once, but maybe even more than once. It's premium. Once you get up to the burnout zone, it's just, miles of just staring at Mount Hood through a gorgeous winter wonderland. It's lots of beautiful, the way the sunrise hits the area too, you get beautiful sun and light on the area while you're hiking up if you do it in the morning. So I think this is one of the best hikes for winter in the entire Mount Hood area, personally. I'd say Tilly Jane and Tammanawis Falls are the two key hikes on the east side of Mount Hood area. I have hikes available on my channel from Tammanawis Falls as well. I did it twice. once in January, once in March, different snow and ice levels. Gives a bit of a contrast. So I've done that full hike twice. I've done this one now once in winter, once in summer. Summer is beautiful too. I dig summer, but I do think that this is a more premium winter hike just because it's, they call it the Tilly Jane Ski Trail for a reason. It really is more of a winter wonderland zone than a summer zone, although summer's pretty too. So my humble opinion. So yeah, those are my takeaways. Definitely prioritize this one. This is definitely a special one. I think this is better I did it by myself today. Previously I did it with other people. Do it as a group. And I think this is a particularly good group one. Good caravan one where you get 3 or 5 or 7 or 10 people together. Go up to one of the cabins and stay the night. But that's a legitimate play in the area, kind of a fun life experience situation. So I am heading back to the trailhead to conclude my hike.